Hey everyone, this is Amanda. I am so excited here for another episode, and this one it's also very special. Over 19 years of experience sharing some of the basic things but necessary for your business to grow and to thrive. But before we get started, make sure you are subscribing to the page, getting that notification button on so that you know every time a new video is coming up, because there's so much gold and I don't want you to miss it. But so let's go and dive into today's episode. Hey everybody, thank you so much for joining in another episode, and I am just so excited because there's amount of knowledge that you guys are gonna get today and get to hear from James Spitz. He's here in the state of Washington alongside myself, and he has years and not counting decades almost of just being in real estate, and also background in mortgage industry as well, which just make him a wholesome, real estate to help, real estate agent to help just other clients out there. So James, thank you so much for being here again. I so appreciate your time. So I don't want to just take too much time of giving you an introduction. I would love for you to share, with us a little bit more about yourself, what got you to real estate, and let's get started.
All right. Well, like she said, I'm James. Pretty much my life revolves around my dog, Pork Chop. That's like he's just the homie. I mainly just kind of run around, just have fun, like my community, love food, enjoy meeting people, and just learning in general. And that's just really who I am as a nutshell. It's literally just James. If you want to do something, let's do it. If not, I'm cool just relaxing, sitting around. Have an awesome wife. Got married on 8/8/2024, because if you add the 2024, it makes 8. So it's like 3/8. So I guess that's supposed to be lucky. So we'll see how it works out. But I can say I have been in real estate longer than most people have been married. So that means I probably know the market better than a lot of people know their ex-spouses. So I'd be happy to help, or whatever we got to do to, keep you happy.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Congratulations on the wedding. I love all of the significance of just numbers and things like that, and meaningful. And I know you guys are great, and it will continue to be great. And you have all this experience, so now you just apply that on the marriage. I know it's different areas, but so as you shared with me before, you start in the mortgage industry. What were you doing even before that? Is this something that was like out of college, or like you always thought about kind of getting to real estate in some levels or capacity?
Well, when I was younger, I was actually in the gym industry. And when I was working in the gym, I met an older gentleman that was doing mortgages, and we were kind of just chatting, and I did some sales stuff that he was impressed with. He was like, "Hey, you should consider mortgages." And I asked why, and he was talking about the money. And when I heard how much money you could make, it was 100% about the money. I didn't care about the people. I didn't care about the industry. I didn't care about the hours. When you tell me that you can make the money he was talking about and the checks he was showing me, I was sold. So it wasn't for passion. It wasn't for helping people. It was 100% about, hey, how's this little troubled kid going to make 6 figures and be able to pay to keep myself out of trouble? And so that's how I ended up in mortgages.
And then like you did that for a few years before you got into like the becoming an agent.
Yes.
Why like, if mortgage, obviously, as you said, which I think is a lot of us, we want to pay our bills, right? So not always we get to do what we're passionate about it. At least when you get started. So how was that transition into getting to like now on the other side of the transaction as a real estate agent?
Well, when I was doing mortgages, they had brought in a new manager that I kind of butted heads with, because I can kind of have a strong personality, and he kind of had a strong personality, and because I was fairly new, but I was generating a lot of fee income based on my practices on how I was doing mortgages, he was reaching out to my clients. And one day when I heard my voicemail, they mentioned my first name and his last name, which they wouldn't have known my manager's last name unless he talked to him. So I pulled all of my files, gave them to a friend who had another mortgage company so they could close the deal so we didn't get on. And I left that particular company and I went to start working with an investor. And during that time when I met this investor, I had also met another real estate agent, and she was like, actually worked at Coldwell Banker. I still remember her to this day. She was like, just take this test and go pass it, and then you can get a real estate license. So I took the test, and I remember calling her. I was like, I'm going in to take the test. And about 15 minutes later, maybe 20, I called her back, and she was like, you're done? And I was like, yeah, it was super easy. She was like, did you pass? I was like, yeah. Even the lady, when I walked up to the front desk to hand her everything from the proctor, she was like, are you sure you're done? I was like, it was a multiple choice test, you know, and I had I have no attachment to stuff. So it was just kind of like, if it's wrong, it's wrong. If it's right, it's right. I'm not going to second guess it. I either know it or I don't. And so it was just like 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, whatever the number was supposed to be. And I just went through it. And after I got it, I started working with an investor who was horrible. But at the same time, he taught me how to negotiate so well. Come to find out, he was a criminal with a master's degree in psychology and a PhD. So like the head games he would play with me initially when we would go pick up these properties taught me how to, honestly, just taught me how to get people to say yes. You know, and his main area that he worked was West Seattle, so up Roxbury, down through Dale Ridge, all of that area. And he taught me how to read all the lot lines, how to see how stuff was grandfathered in, what to look for in houses. And basically I was just knocking on doors, you know? And when people wouldn't call us back, he would just tell me random stuff to say. I remember this one guy was so mad at me because there was this house that I had been knocking on the door for like 2 months, 3 months, and no one ever returned my calls. I saw they were getting my notes because the tags were off the door. I was putting them everywhere on the windows. They had to have hated me. So then one day, because I had his number, I called him and I was like, if your house is at so-and-so, there is a fire. And if there's anything like me to do, give me a call back. And he called me back and he's like, there's a fire at my house. I was like, yes, it's a fire sale and I want to buy your house.
Oh my God.
I was so mad. But we did, he did end up getting the property. The guy I was doing this stuff for, he did end up buying the property, tearing it down, building some townhomes. But it was just really slimy on how he taught me how to do business. But at the same time, he taught me a lot about the industry and investing and getting people to open their doors and stuff like that.
That's amazing. I mean, like, you know, persistency, creativity, you know, like it wins the game, right? Everybody and their mother can be a real estate agent, right? And can get a license and maybe not in 15, 20 minutes, but, you know, because I haven't heard of anybody passing the test that fast. But you know, it's just like how you understand the market and how you talk to people. Obviously, you know, the experience and the time definitely helps. You know, some coaches or teachers along the way, you just take the best out of it, right? And just kind of continue to build on top of that. So how long now, we were just talking about that you've been in as a real estate agent?
I just had to pull it up. It was since 2006. May 2006. That is so long. Long.
Almost 19 years here in few months. Well, congratulations for still being around here, you know, and doing an amazing job and serving your community. I love how just laid back you are and how easy you are to talk to. Always, you know, wanting to support anyone, you know, in any way. And I think that's what you know, attracts you to getting, you know, amazing clients and deals. I know there's probably endless stories that you can share, but what would you say, you know, are some of your successes just, in real estate as an agent?
I think one of my favorite stories is because I'm super outspoken and I just love, I don't necessarily like to say I'm right, but I like when people say something can't be done and it can be done. So I had an investor that I showed, like, I don't even know. I'm gonna say it was at least 50 houses to. It was so annoying. We just went way underpriced on everything. It just sucked. I was still a newer agent, or not really newer. I just would say I was just hungry for whatever reason because I was trying to join a team for I don't know why. But I got this client and we bought this house in Tacoma. And after we bought it, the agent said to me, "Good luck selling it." And I was like, "Oh, well, come to find out, it was Ted Bundy's childhood home." And so we're like, so my client's telling me about this. "Well, didn't you know this?" And we're like, "Well, the agent told me good luck selling it, blah, blah, blah." So we did end up flipping the house. And because marketing is so important in real estate, and also just being able to, just make sure it's done the right way. So like it's to the top where it needs to be. Instead of putting my information out there, even though I was the listing agent, I allowed 2 offices that were top producers in that area to do all the marketing for my listing. So if you looked at anything online, it just said Keller Williams because that's where the agents were at, but no one knew it was Ted Bundy's house because all the marketing had pushed all that old information back on page like 2, 3 on the Google search.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Smart.
then after the house sold, when we priced it, again, agents were like, "You don't know the market. It's not going to sell for that much. You don't know what you're doing." We had over 40 people come through the open houses. Based on what they said, it could have been more, but they sent all the information to me. We ended up getting a full price offer. And then after everybody found out it was Ted Bundy's childhood home, everybody wanted to sue me. And, like I told the agent, and then the agent was upset because she said that we stole the house from them and we knew it was worth more. And I told the agent, I was like, you're the neighborhood expert. You represented your clients. I was like, you chose to pay me 4% commission to buy it. I was like, you chose to tell me I was overpricing it. And now you're coming back to me because you're saying I sold it for too much. And so then actually, I think it was Inman actually wrote an article about it because agents were complaining I didn't disclose whose house it was. But in Washington, you don't have to disclose that. It's not a material fact. And so it was an interesting little time. I had TV shows calling me and all of this random stuff. I actually started doing a TV show through Hoth Productions out of LA, but then I realized I hate being on camera. And I was like, I don't want to do this. And I don't like having my photos taken. Hence why I still haven't got my branding photos up, but they're all ready. I just need to pay for them.
Oh my God, you're hilarious.
So yeah, so what I realized is even in real estate, with all the opportunities and all the success you can have, I'd rather just stay true to myself and just kind of be the smaller person helping others than just being completely in the limelight. So that's my real estate story that kind of just...
Yeah. No, and I think that, like, even, before myself getting to real estate, I don't think I knew you were in real estate just through, meeting you prior to myself getting to that, as so many other people, right? Because it's not like you're closing deals, you're getting things done, but you're not necessarily like, showcasing and sharing and all of that. Even though, like, you were like the one-to-one relationship, right? Which you do that, like, out of all the people that I know, you're definitely, on the top of the list of just how quickly you engage and how you understand their needs and how you, as you say, like, you have developed those skills of like just getting things done and also directing people, to get what they truly want, right? Because sometimes in this market, especially working with buyers, there can be all over the place, right? And but I feel like just that experience definitely helps. So fast forward to today, 19 years, and like some of the things, that you learn, from, you know, getting the experience, working with a lot of different clients and their different personalities. What is your strategy, or if there's any systems that have helped you with the success that you have today?
I would just say you need to be committed to yourself, because real estate's honestly not hard. I believe the hardest part of real estate is just saying, okay, this is who I am as a person. This is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not willing to do. And then once you find those things you're willing to do, put it on a schedule and stay committed to it. Real estate's 100% about leads. If you don't have any leads, you don't have any business. Now, once you have your leads, now you need to close them. Now that you know how to close, now you need to nurture them. And if you just practice those three things, just leads, closing, and nurturing, your business will flourish. But now you just need to figure out what areas in those you're good at. So for myself, I prefer open houses. Because that immediately puts me in front of someone. I'm comfortable in closing people. Where I do have challenges is nurturing my leads, because when someone tells me no or they need to think about it, my ego gets in the way and I'm like, okay, great, you're wasting my time, So I'll just I'm happy just giving the lead to somebody else. I'm like, hey, when you close, just give me a referral. I don't care. Does that impact my income? Yes. But also at the same time, it gives somebody else confidence and helps them grow it. And if I know they're going to do it better than me, I'd rather take a referral and give it to someone who's going to enjoy it and appreciate it than be selfish and do nothing with it and get nothing. So I think that's just the biggest thing for being successful, is just leads, selling and nurturing, and then just identifying who you are and staying true to yourself.
No, that's great. Since you say, you love doing open houses, what would you say I'm not gonna say if it's the easiest, because I know we all have our personalities, how we speak, our tones and things like that. But what would you be a tip that to help when someone walks through the door, right? For that agent to get a higher chance of getting that, that possible buyer's contact. Like what is usually, how do you, work through that just to, even if you're not going to nurture, even if you're going to pass it on to someone else, if they're still, in the middle of the road with what they want to do. But what is your tactic of just kind of trying to get the contact from, buyers are going to multiple, opens. Sometimes they do understand that it's going to be a practice that everybody asks you to sign in, but not necessarily everybody does it, right? They can just say okay, and then just kind of walk away and not really do it. Is there anything that, you feel like it helps you to get more people to sign in when they come to open house?
Yeah, I think people like associating with people who are like them and know what they know, but don't know more than they know. And they also like to feel like they're getting something special that no one else has. So, and that's what I've personally found. So what I do is I set up the MLS and I just open it up. So the one that I have access to, not the one the public has access to, but the paid version. Some people are like, oh, I do KV Core and I do this, but okay, great, who cares? It's not special. When I have that opened up, I have all the homes opened up for the area that are around that house. Also, what I do before my open houses is I preview those houses, because if a buyer comes into the house and they ask me about a house in the neighborhood and they can tell me about it and I cannot tell them about it, why do they need me? We literally have nothing in common anymore besides the fact that I want to sell you something. But now when they come in, they're like, oh, James, did you see that house at 1237? I love that kitchen. Oh yeah, I looked at it. Did you pull out that drawer? Oh yeah, I looked in that drawer. It was so messy. Ha ha ha. Now you can you have common ground and something you're both interested in. And then when you do that, I'm like, hey, here, let's take a look at it on the MLS and see what it says. Then when they open it up, first thing they always ask is, where do I get this at? And I'm like, oh, do you want access to it? I was like, I'll give it to you. It's the exact same information that I get as a real estate agent as soon as it comes through. So it doesn't matter if it's Zillow, Redfin, And I name all the big companies in their area. I never even talk about EXP. I just say Zillow, Redfin, because as soon as I say Zillow and Redfin, they get all excited, and I'm like, perfect, just put your information in there. And they'll just literally put their information in there for it, and while you're sitting there, all of a sudden you'll hear their cell phone ding, and they'll be like, oh yeah, I got it. And they'll walk through the house and search everything. And now I literally have all of their contact information in my database, and I did absolutely nothing except for give them access to what nobody else has. So they feel special.
Love it. Now, that's very incredible, because you're making them feel like, they just want something just by walking into your open house, of something that most likely it doesn't happen with anybody else, right? Mm-hmm. I love that. That is very, very awesome. So kind of moving in a little bit more of like, you did share like, real estate, it's not that hard. Obviously, you need to be, choosing your area that you want to, to find leads, and there's multiple ones. But what would you say that you believe that it's needed for, as far as just like your mindset in being in this business, like to, because obviously there's ups and downs and things like that, but what would you share that it has helped you as far as mindset goes, especially being in this business for so long?
When it comes to mindset, I guess it really just always boils down to yourself. I always send it back to dating, because everyone's been insecure at some time in their life about dating, right? Oh my gosh, that girl's so hot, I'll never have her, or I'm never going to find the perfect husband, the dating pool sucks, and whenever people say, oh, the dating pool it's just filled with pee, I'm like, well, get out of it and stop ruining it for everybody else. It's kind of like my take on it. And the same thing goes with real estate. It's people are coming to open houses, because even if they're just looking, because they have an interest, and what is that interest? And if you're not comfortable in that house, that's going to actually come out to the people, just like, we'll use a dog because I like dogs. If you're scared around a dog can sense you're scared, and it gives you the same energy. Same thing happens when you go to an open house. If someone comes in there kind of closed off, great, allow them to be closed off, give them a reason to open up. So that's what I think is very useful in those situations.
What would I know obviously you use the example of like, hey, here's the MLS, and I think it adds a lot as far as like know your inventory, right? Because maybe that house, it's not for that one buyer, but it could be another house that is in the area, right? Because if they're looking at that location, most likely they want to live in that neighborhood and things like that. And then kind of tie in with you saying like, the mindset, and people come in with different personalities, different background, and how they like to interact and things like that. How do you read people just by them walking in? Like, if they, hey, I just want to look at the house, don't talk to me, or, some people that are more open. Is there any questions that you try to ask them as they come in to try to give you an idea or a sense, of where they at on that scale?
Yes. I typically just start off with just a hello. And if someone ignores me, that's fine. If they're open to engage, I engage with them. My favorite people are the ones who ignore me, because now I want to know why they're ignoring me. I want to know why their guard is up. And usually how I get them to open up is I go back to that, giving them that VIP access. Like, okay, great. Obviously, you've probably went to a lot of houses. You've dealt with a bunch of real estate agents. I get it. If you just decide you want access to what real estate agents are looking at to get more information on this house that's not on the public, my computer's right there. I'll show you exactly what you need to do to look at it. You can go ahead and scan it on your own. And usually people come over and be like, hey, what else do you know about this house? Or you'll see it in their eyes when you give them access to that, because it's a privilege. It's a privilege that others don't have. And then when they go over there, again, I just pretty much just show them like, okay, this is how you navigate. I don't even touch the computer. I'm like, what area do you want to go? I just let them, I'm just kind of like I'm training a new agent. I'm like, this is how you do this, this is how you do that. It'll come up and they'll ask, what's these notes? What's this? I'm like, here, this is what it is. And I'll just explain it to them. you know, and it's really helpful, you know, in getting down those walls because I'm not asking them for anything. You know, I'm just giving them value that they won't be able to get anywhere else. And even if they are closed off, they usually say, "Hey, can I get access to this, or how do I get access to it?" I'm like, "Easy, just you don't even got to put your last name. Just put your first name there, put your email address. It'll send you a link, and you can search all this stuff exactly how you're searching it here. The only thing you won't get are access codes or private broker notes that are just between the broker and the client and the listing agent." And they're like, "Oh, okay," and they'll usually just put it in.
So do you send that through just like the MLS search? Is that what you do?
Yes. So I just set it up to the MLS search, and then I just set that up as their, and they can set it up daily, weekly, nightly, monthly, how it goes. And it's like in KV Core and any of the other programs, I can see exactly when they log in. I can see what they like. I can see what they don't like. And I have my first note set up that gives them instructions on letting them know, like, hey, if there's something they see and they don't want to talk to me and they want to send me a message, I can look into something further for them. It has my lender's contact information in there, you know, and it even tells them if they don't want to use me as their agent, I don't care. Just use me as a resource to help their agent. You know, so
love it. Yeah, I think that's the mindset, right? Like, you know, just because you're being helpful and resourceful, if at any point, even if they are working with another agent, that agent doesn't provide a good service, right? You'll be like be a backup in their mind, like, wow, remember that one person, like he just tried to help her, even knowing that I had an agent, right? Because a lot of times when an agent knows that possible buyer have another agent, they kind of just like, well, you're on your own, let me walk away, right? And but you never know, because everything's building in relationship as well. Now that's awesome. So now let's just kind of like, if you were to give an advice for, an agent that is trying to scale their business, hit numbers or stay focused, like what would you be, some advice or tip to give for, it doesn't matter if it's new agents or agents that has been in the market, but maybe haven't been closing a lot of deals. We heard that last year, it was a very tough year that I think was like something high, like 70% of agents did not sell one property.
One house, yes.
It's crazy, right? So what would be an advice, that you would give for someone that either is feeling stuck or getting started as far as, real estate goes?
I would, again, going back to reevaluate yourself. What are you doing? Like a lot of people are just I see agents always saying, I'm doing all of this stuff and I'm marketing, but every time I look at their marketing, it's, I can help you buy a house. I'm the greatest real estate agent. Look at this open house. Look at this. This is what I'm doing. None of that brings any value, and don't always just make it about all of my houses are, every house you do is $2 million. Well, you can't have a $2 million house conversation. You don't even know how to open the sliding door on a $2 million house. When you walk, you got to start in a space where you can have conversations where you're comfortable and then scale up from there. If you want to get into a higher market, so you don't have to sell as much to make some money, great. Start hanging out with those people or hanging out with those agents to learn how to speak their language and start giving information of value. So again, like I said, when it comes to generating deals, it really just boils down to getting to know yourself and then staying committed. If you know you're supposed to have 5 new contacts per day, real estate contacts with phone number and email, if you did not get 5 contacts that day, why? I mean, that's pretty much it. Just everything you're supposed to do it every day, complete it, and you will reach your goals. If you make excuses or complain that it's hard or say so-and-so's not doing it, who cares what so-and-so's doing? That's not your business. Do what you need to do, commit to you, commit to yourself, be real with yourself on what you're willing to do and what you're not willing to do, and you'll get results.
I love it. I think, as you say, in the end of the day, it boils down to you as a person, right? Because so easy to compare, and then before you know, you wasting so much energy and time of looking at what someone else is doing. And believe me, they're closing deals, and then you're here just like, eating popcorn and crying your tears off while you're not. But I think the commitment, it's a big thing. And why you want to do this, right? Even if it could be like for the material stuff, right? Like, hey, I do want to buy this, or I want to have that, but in the end of the day, you need to have a bigger why that is going to keep going. Make sure you wake up every day and do that. And life happens to all of us, but if you have that, at least that bare minimum commitment daily, it's gonna continue to move the needle, right, as you continue to move forward. Well, we are coming to a close, but is there anything else that you want to share before we let you go today?
Some buyers are just not going to work with you or sellers. And I guess I'll just end with this. I have a seller. I've been trying to get this listing. I don't know. I would say for at least the last 6 months, right? And when I first met her, she was like, "I'm not going to work with you." I was like, "Why?" "Well, you don't know the market." And we're supposed to be buying a house in Redmond. And I was like, "Why do I not know the Redmond market?" She's like, "Because you don't sell here." And I was like, "Well, there's technology." So she had other real estate agents she was working with and talking to, and she had a specific neighborhood she wanted to be in, which needed a 3-car garage, which I knew it didn't have 3-car garages. They had 2 with a golf cart bay. So while she was in Mexico, I went door to door while the other agents were just sending her stuff, and I happened to find a home, sold it to her, $2 million, and now I'm working on getting her listing. And the listing is for $3 million, but it can't go on until March, because that's when the rehab on the current house will be done. And again, currently she's still telling me, "Well, I can't work with you because you're going to charge too much, or you don't know the area." So this is where that consistency and nurturing comes from. She gave me a raving review on me being her buyer agent. She told me talked about me to all her family and friends. She's always telling people how great I am. She invites me to all of her parties and introduces me to her friends, but she's suggesting she won't use me as her listing agent because of pricing. So at the end of the day, no matter how good you are, it doesn't really matter. Don't take it personally. Just continue to just do your process, get your leads, nurture them, and get better at closing. And one or two things will happen. You'll either not get the deal and you'll have to identify where you could have improved, or you'll realize just not everybody's for you. There you go.
That is so good. I mean, and that's a real example there. Like, you were the only one that stood out to go find the place where she wanted that nobody else did. And I mean, that in itself, just thinking about it as an outsider, I mean, like, she should be using you for every single deal that she has.
Right.
But here she is, like,
so.
contemplating like the reasons why that maybe she shouldn't be using you. And that's like, we never know what's going on in the other person's mind, right? Right now, she's just feeling on stuck on the whole pricing thing and whatnot. But I am sure, that it might not work out as you said, but I know you're invested there, and I think we will see that deal coming, be listed here in the next month or so. So
yeah, fingers crossed, because I need to eat and my dog needs food.
No, I am sure it's gonna happen. You already showed her that you go above and beyond. She'll be crazy not to go with you. Or
I feel that same
she will
way.
regret it.
I feel that exact same way. Absolutely crazy. I may not live up there, and but
yeah. Well, James, thank you so much for coming in today. And I know you don't love a camera, so you know how much I do appreciate you being here and sharing your story. And everybody, I am going to be putting on the comments below all James' information. He might not be like constantly posting maybe like I do, but he's a wealth of knowledge and someone that you can definitely reach out to, because I know he will be more than glad to help. So thank you so much for coming in today, listening to our episode, and stay tuned for future ones. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you.